Thanks, Melissa. And you'll be pleased to know this is not going to be a very long presentation. And I've been practicing, so I'm going to say konnichiwa. Because I've been practicing that. And I'd just like to say that I'm blown away with what the ITONF has achieved in the last few years. And today is just a sample. If today is just a sample of what we've got in store in the years to come, then I think it's amazing. So my disclosures, I don't have any personal disclosures, but I am the director of a charity that does receive a number of donations from industry. So I just wanted to review a little bit the incidence of mesothelioma, more than anything, just to highlight really that this is a global epidemic. And apologies that Japan does not appear in this list. And so I've got a separate slide just to highlight that Japan is not spared and in fact is following many other developed countries in its incidence of mesothelioma in that it is increasing. I also just wanted to highlight that this is not a problem that is going to disappear. And there is a direct correlation between our consumption of asbestos and our incidence of mesothelioma, and actually consumption of asbestos globally continues to increase, unfortunately, in some countries. So my take-home message number one is that mesothelioma is an epidemic, and it is an epidemic that will continue. Now, in the UK, we have a large body of cancer nurse specialists. In fact, we have over 3,000 in England alone, not including Scotland, Ireland and Wales. And these cancer nurse specialists are tumour site specific, so they focus on particular cancers. And there is a growing body of evidence to support the benefits of having cancer nurse specialists, not least from our national audit that demonstrated that if you have this is an observation, by the way, that if you have a cancer nurse specialist, you're twice as likely to be accessing anti-cancer treatment. If you have a cancer nurse specialist, then emergency admission rates are reduced and your length of stay is reduced. And although the Temmel paper in the New England Journal was not based on cancer nurse specialists, the cancer nurse specialists in the UK are very much focused on holistic assessment and symptom management. And so I think we can take some credit really for perhaps the potential benefits of early palliative care. So a growing body of evidence to support access to specialist cancer nursing is my second take-home message. Now, it's not possible, even in a small country like the United Kingdom, we have the highest incidence of mesothelioma in the world in the United Kingdom, but even in our small country, it's not possible to have nurses, cancer nurse specialists dedicated to mesothelioma in every national health hospital. In England alone, we have something like 160 NHS hospitals. So through Mesothelioma UK, the charity that I'm the director of, we have developed a hub and spoke approach to providing cancer nurse specialists dedicated to mesothelioma. And we're a young charity, growing every year, and I'm pleased to say we've just recruited nurse 18. So we have 18 dedicated mesothelioma nurses working at the front line of the NHS. And this is a map of the UK. The pink areas are the areas of high incidence of mesothelioma, and the stars are where we have got cancer nurse specialists dedicated just to mesothelioma. So my take-home message for this is that I think that for some diseases, it is essential to have a national approach to providing expert mesothelioma nursing. And I would really urge other countries to think about adopting this approach. It seems to be working very well in the UK. So it's against that backdrop that Mesothelioma UK, along with the Royal Marsden, we developed a completely online course in mesothelioma called Principles of Mesothelioma Care. And to date, the course has been run 5 times. We've had 63 students or delegates complete the course, and they have been from all over the world. So we've had nurses from the UK, Australia, United States, Japan, and South Africa. And such has been the success of the course that we've actually been awarded an Excellence in Education. So some key features of that course: it's accredited at degree and master's level. It's completely online using an online platform called Moodle. We've had between 7 and 15 students on the course. It's international, as I've said. The assessment is the development of a poster. So the students are asked to devise a poster in a relevant subject and then submit a 2,000 for level 6 or a 3,000 word assignment for level 7. This is just to give you an idea of some of the content. So we have 2 introductory weeks where the students are given the opportunity to familiarise themselves with the online platform that we're using. Then there are 9 taught weeks using a variety of different teaching methods, and we have a minimum of 2 lecturers that interact on a daily basis. And then the students are given 3 weeks to complete their assignment. This is just a screenshot of one of the pages from the course, and this is some film footage of a patient called Andrew Burns, who's sadly no longer with us, but a young man who was exposed to asbestos as an electrician, and he's just talking about his story. So we use patients, healthcare professionals to deliver lectures and to interact with the students. Each week also, you can see at the bottom, essential reading. So we have essential reading for each week of the course, and then some optional reading if the students want to pack out their learning with some extra reading. So my take-home message for this is that there is an accredited and award-winning, I'm pleased to say, international mesothelioma course that is available to all healthcare professionals. It is predominantly accessed by nurses, but it is available to all healthcare professionals. I'd like to just share with you, and Sarah's in the audience sitting here, that Sarah Nagamatsu is one of the students who completed the course a few years ago. This is the poster she completed as part of that course, which was an ethics-approved qualitative inquiry into patients' information needs in Japan. So mesothelioma patients' information needs in Japan. Such was Sarah's interest that she went on to develop a nurse education programme, and this is the paper that she had published that evaluated that education programme. And this is a picture of me and Sarah a couple of years ago. Another student, Judy Rafferty, with some financial support from the Australian Lung Foundation, she went on to develop an educational roadshow that she took around Australia, and she delivered 28 workshops and reached out to 376 health professionals, 66 GPs and practice nurses, 320 people from the general healthcare community, and in total had 762 attendees to an educational programme she developed dedicated to asbestos-related diseases. And I won't go through this, but this is just some of the content of that course and a photograph of Judy on one of those courses. So I think that's an absolute credit to the course that these delegates went on to deliver their learning in their own countries. So the take-home message number 5 is that specialist education is essential and it's readily transferable to other countries and healthcare settings. Finally, I probably am echoing the words of Melissa when I say that we have lots of opportunities now, thankfully, due to the ITONF particularly, but also the International Association for the Study of Lung Cancer, and more recently, the International Mesothelioma Interest Group. So you've heard about some of the workshops the ITONF have delivered, and last year was the first time that we had a nursing workshop attached to the International Mesothelioma Interest Group conference that was held in the UK. And I'm delighted that we're going to be repeating that, hopefully, at IMIG next year, which will be in Ottawa in May. And again, just to echo what Melissa has said, we'd like to welcome you there. There'll be a warm welcome from your international nurse colleagues wanting to spread the gospel about mesothelioma particularly. So my take-home message is that international nurse networking and learning opportunities do exist in abundance. So just to recap on my take-home messages, mesothelioma is an epidemic that will continue. Access to specialist nursing really does make a difference. Adopting a national approach to providing expert mesothelioma nursing is possible. We have an accredited international award-winning course available. Specialist education is essential and readily transferable to other countries, as we've seen, as evidenced by Sarah and Judy. And there are plenty of opportunities to network internationally, and I'd just like to extend a warm welcome to all of you. And with that, I'd just like to say arigato.